Alright guys, this is going to be a complete tutorial on LEGO Harry Potter years 5 through 7 for collection and restricted categories. Specifically year 5 replay story, because this is one of the hardest replay story segments depending on the strats you're doing. So yeah, I'll just get right into it, I guess. I'll be doing the levels in order, but I should have timestamps in the description, hopefully, if I remember to do that. So yeah, starting with 5-1, a quick note of what red bricks you're gonna need. I should probably bring that up. So the red bricks I like to have super strength, fall rescue. Fall rescue isn't necessarily needed for this category. Super strength, fast magic, and fast dig are pretty much the only ones you're gonna need. And as for this room has so many branching paths. If you're starting on this level, which you shouldn't be, because this is not the hardest level in the run. But if you, for whatever reason, want to start on this level, you can do playground skip, which saves like at most 10 seconds maybe. I'm not 100% sure on that. Playground skip, we're gonna do a stored super jump out of bounds, go around there, and then go to this fence where we'll get a launch and we can go to the end. So there are two different methods of super jumps you can get here. One is the slower method, but most consistent method. You're just gonna want to go back here, switch, and then switch back to Harry, and then come around again, and then you're gonna want to jump against this pole, and when you land, switch again, and most of the time you'll go out of bounds. Like that. Another thing that should be noted, you can cancel super jumps by using Lumos, which is a little bit faster. It doesn't necessarily cancel you being able to use the super jump to get out of bounds. It just cancels the animation where you can't move for like a split second, so it can save a few frames. So that's the one way to get out of bounds. The other way to get out of bounds is if you see on the ground there's shadows, you're gonna want to line it up with about this shadow. Dudley's in a bad position. Hold on. You can do this one from the get-go, because Dudley will usually spawn around there. If he walks like over here, it will not work though. But jump around this shadow and then just spam the switch button. It's very inconsistent. But the idea is you'll just switch and Harry will automatically jump out of bounds. And you want to switch around the time you hit this bar of the swing set, like right here. So I'll cut to me getting it. Or not. Alright, so those are the two ways of getting out of bounds in this room. So after that, we need to make our way over to that fence all the way over there. It's not on screen right now. So you're going to want to jump on this garbage can, which shouldn't give you too much trouble. If you go in front of this garbage can at all, you'll pop back in bounds. So you just want to jump on this garbage can. Then you can either jump on the house or behind it. It doesn't matter too much. And you want to make your way over to this fence, which the fastest line would be jumping on the garbage can, on the house, over to the fence. That's the fastest line you can take to get here. So to get the launch now, what you're going to want to do is just walk towards this fence, and eventually you'll get a launch that gets you enough height to get up. Okay, that's good. And then you just want to land over here. It's easier than it looks to land over here. You're just going to want to land. You probably saw a light post. You're just going to want to land past that. And that is the end trigger's just right here. That is the collection method of playground skip for this room. which is probably not the most run viable method, but it is still a method that you can try. I personally wouldn't go for it, but it's up to preference at the end of the day. So, if you do not want to go for playground skip, then the next method is yet another branching path. So if you're not going for playground skip, then you have to move these bushes and pull the strength handle. And remember, after pulling strength handles, use Lumos to immediately rise back up. But when you get to this car section, there are two things you can do. You can either do it like intended, where you hit the car, pull the strength handles, or you can do half playground skip, which saves not a lot of time, but it still saves a little bit of time. So you want to go into this pit, jump out like right around here, and then switch back. It's a stored super jump, by the way. And then you're going to want to drop in player 2 and position him about anywhere along this fence. I've never seen anyone use this in a run, so it technically does save a few seconds, but it's not a very good strat to do. But if you do it correctly, like I did that time, Harry should just jump through the gate. And then for this last area, you just shoot that down, and then jump onto this orange block. And you don't have to aim at that one, you can just shoot it like that. The only other method is completing the room completely and normally, which in replay story with the super strength red brick looks something like this. Just pull the strength handles and use the mouse, just like that. And then go to this blue stud, aim at that, and jump like that. That's the only other method if you're not going to do playground skip or half playground skip. So for the next room, this room is very easy. There are two ways to complete it. I'm only going to go over one method of completing it, because I can very easily just tell you the other method and you'll understand it. You just literally switch to Dudley. You want to, and that room has Harry Potter. You want to switch to Dudley and then walk to the end. The other method is you can also drop in Dudley, but if you're not going to, or if you're going to do a restricted park skip, which I'll explain in a little bit, then you're not going to want to drop in Dudley, because you're going to lose time on a dropout. Same thing goes for this room. This room's a complete auto-scroller. You want to switch to Mad Eye, because there's a trigger at the end and he's a little bit closer than Harry. Okay, so this next room is restricted park skip. So you want to immediately switch to Kingsley because he's closer, and it's another stored super jump. So you're going to want to don't do that. You're going to want to jump onto this dock. You don't have to actually fall into the water. The super jump is right here, but you don't have to fall into it. If you go to the very edge of the dock, then Kingsley will jump anyways. But what you do want to do after getting the stored super jump, switch back to Kingsley. So Kingsley's player 1, Harry's player 2. And then position Harry right here and Kingsley right here. Then drop out Harry, switch to, drop out Harry, switch to him, and then Kingsley will jump into the bush. This is the hard part of the trick. You're going to want to get the walking up the wall. The way to do this, you're going to want to jump, and then Kingsley will kind of slide a little bit. I'll try to get a good example here. He'll kind of like slide like that. And then once he starts walking, you're free to start walking at an angle up the wall. Sometimes he'll get a launch here, which, unless you know how to line up the trigger, can just kill the run. I missed the trigger, so I have to play that again. That's nice. If you miss the trigger at all and end up over here, you're soft locked and have to reset. But it's not actually hard to hit the trigger. I was just trying to wait a second, but... Alright, so I'm back in this room. I'm gonna switch like that, call in player 2, put him right here, drop out player 2, switch to Harry, Kingsley jumps through the wall. And also you can use Lumos as well, if you feel like it. So, once again, just wait until I start sliding. I think I was talking about if you get launched, then you're pretty screwed unless you can hit the trigger, which I don't actually know how to do. So once you get around, so the visual cue is this light. Once you get to this light, you're gonna want to spam jump and hold forward. And most of the time you'll hit the trigger. So that's pretty easy. I'll also go over if you don't want to do that, which you should be doing that. That's very run viable, and it's like a minute of time save. But if you don't want to do that, I'll explain how to do the room completely casually as well. Okay, so if you are actually going to play, the next room casually, the park room, then you're actually fine to drop in 2 players here. And don't switch player 1 to Mad Eye, you can just drop in Mad Eye, since you're going to be 1p2c'ing this room anyways. I'd recommend still giving Park Skip a try, but remember, this is always an option. So to start this room, you're going to want to go down with Kingsley and fix this box. And then at the same time, Harry will go up here and put on the tree cutters, which is kind of jank. And then after that, drop out Harry, and Kingsley comes over here and tries to snipe that reducto lock. And then once you build this hammer and put it into place, a camera pan will play. So you're going to want to time it so that way you skip the camera pan. And then drop out Kingsley. And Leviosa these statues. And then once the statues are all Leviosa'd, another camera pan will play. So you're just going to want to give Mad Eye the thing. And remember, use Lumos to cancel the animation of giving it to somebody. Or giving anything to somebody. And make sure you end this room, I don't care where you do it, end this room with Kingsley dropped out though. Because you just want to end the room with him dropped out. You need, no matter what strat you do in the next room, you will need player 2 dropped out. So in the next room, we'll be in the ministry, and there is a camera pan at the very beginning of that just shows the elevator going down. And we can skip that if we drop in on the first frame of the next room. So you're going to want to spam the drop-in button during the loading screen after you hit the trigger, or just complete the room normally. And you also don't have to go for this, because if you miss it, you'll lose like half a second, depending on how fast your menuing is, I guess. But if you get it, it saves about a second, I think. So during this load right here, I'm spamming the drop-in button, and that's how it looks if you get it. So if you get it, this strat you should be going for no matter what, because this is like the freest strat ever. But after getting the camera pan, drop out and shoot with Harry. So that way, Harry has his wand out. If you miss the camera pan, or just don't go for it, then go over here, jump, and shoot with Harry. The reason being is because we're about to do a super jump over at this spot, and if Harry has his wand away, then he'll pull it out like he did there, except he didn't jump. Look, see, he pulled it out before he jumped. So you either want to shoot during the camera pan or during the jump. And then just jump here and switch back to get the super jump status. Then call in player 2. This is a really easy trick. You want to position player 2 by these books right where he's standing, and position player 1 at the very bottom of this newspaper stand, and then drop out player 2 and just switch to him. And even though it kind of looks like he didn't go through the wall, he is, and you can just walk through. Alright, so you're gonna want to take this line that I'm taking right now, and there's a camera pan skip you're gonna want to do. The camera pan starts around this point. That's where the camera pan trigger is, so I'm just gonna walk to that and skip it. That's about it. There are 3 ways you can play the this next part of the room. So you can also jump over the camera pan trigger, but that isn't consistent at all, so I'm not even gonna mention that. So the easiest way is just to beat the room casually, which will only lose you like no more than 5 seconds. So you're just going to do that camera pan skip like I just did, and then you're gonna want to pull this lever and build the airplane, which is another camera pan skip. I'm not going to show that because I'm going to show the other strats. So there are 2 other ways. The technically fastest way is to freeze clip through the gate. I don't think there's a statistically best way to get through this wall, but I prefer to clip through this part because it's the closest to it's the best line, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. Just the best line you can take. You can also do a super jump, which is free. More people need to do this because it's actually a really easy super jump. You just go right here, switch, and then I have a more detailed tutorial on this you can find on my channel. You probably don't need to watch it. It's really easy to understand. Basically, the 2 players will walk over. You want the player who doesn't have the super jump status in front, and once he reaches the gate, you want to drop him out, but make sure you don't drop him out too far away like this to where he runs back to Harry. You're basically going to want to touch the gate, drop out, and then make sure you drop out before Harry reaches the gate. So that's a good spot. And then you want to switch when Harry touches the gate. So Harry's against the gate, and then if you just jump side to side, you'll just jump through the gate like that. And finally, this final room, there is a trigger in this room, but in order to activate the trigger, you actually have to do the task of giving the code to the wizard. So you're simply going to want to fix this, and with Harry, I like to pull those these lights. That way, when I'm doing the other stuff, I don't accidentally Leviosa them. And then do this drop out player 2. Very simple. And then after giving the toad to the wizard activates a camera pan, so you're just gonna wanna do that. And then after giving it to him, you can clip through this wall where you will hit a trigger to end the level. Yeah, just like that. So in the universe where you don't want to clip through the door at the end, the alternative strat is just to finish the room casually, which is also really easy. So just do this camera pan skip, and then Arthur can lift this box before the wizard. The box will break. You build this, and turn that. So the clip like barely saves anything. In fact, I didn't even save time with it in this demonstration, but the clip still does technically save time over the casual strats. So that is 5-1 to its completion, finally. Next up is 5-2, which is a lot more simpler of a level. There's not really any dividing strats that you can do. There is one, but I'm not going to talk about it because it's not viable for anything, not even IL. If you want to try that strategy on collection, I think I have a video on my channel just titled, it's like 5-2N trigger potential, something like that. You can look into that, but don't, because it sucks and shouldn't be used. But anyways, start of this level, I like to have player 2 dropped out, just because I need him for a camera pan, so there's no reason to have him dropped in. And then player 1 should be Hermione. One of the weirdest things I see runners do is they'll have Hermione, or they'll try to transition Hermione into player 2. No matter what category you're running, Hermione should always be player 1 when you're entering the Hogshead Inn, I think it's called, which is where we're going, because it just makes the 1v2 scene last way faster. I don't know why people like to have Hermione as player 2. But keep Harry as player 2 for the remainder of this level. Immediately with Hermione, pull out Crookshanks and dig up the pile. Then switch to Defendo, grab this wand. Defendo's like the safe spell, because you can just immediately switch to Lumos. And then head over to here. Student breaks the ice. And it's really simple. Now the camera pan plays immediately after the Leviosa animation ends. So I just skip it there, walk across the bridge. I don't switch Harry off of Glacius, because it's not really necessary. You're gonna want Glacius for a strat anyways. But it's all just casual stuff. I just play the level as you would casually, but with 2 players obviously. This is like the only dividing strat. You can break this lock and go get the shovel with 1 player, while the other player grabs this teacup and shoots this lady out of the barrel. Or you can do the slightly faster method, break the lock, and then with both players walk over here, have 1 player grab the teacup, while the other player hits this lady with Glacius 3 times. And then that'll skip her animation where she's like waking up from the barrel. And then after that, give it to her with player 1, and then drop out the player that gives the teacup to her, and grab the shovel with the other player during this camera pan. And now, I'm not going to do that. You can try to clip through the icicles before they melt, which saves a bit of time. It doesn't hurt to try. I've only ever gotten it like twice though, so it's not that easy of a strat. After that, give the shovel to this dude, and then pull these handles. This broom likes to be really annoying. You have to pull both of these carts to spawn in the flowers you have to give her. It's kind of annoying, but it's whatever. And then you can just clip through this door. Alright, so this clip is pretty easy. There are 2 different methods to doing this. If you're on the collection version, set up Hermione by just jumping and then pressing like downward left on the joystick, and then do the infinite clipping method, and then it's RNG based obviously, but that's like the best way to line up hitting the door. If you're on PC doing the restricted category, this doesn't work on collection, but if you have Hermione running into this pipe and you drop the input, then freeze her and do the spam method, usually she'll clip through very fast. On collection, it doesn't really work as well as it does on PC. Doing the infinite clipping method for this one, where you do this. But eventually she'll clip through the door, and then Harry goes upwards, hits this, and does the puppet show at the same time. Hermione goes over here to do the bookshelf puzzle. And then Hermione grabs the apple. Harry gives this to Ginny. And then Harry comes over here, switches to Expecto Patronum, and once he hits the Dementor, drop out with Harry. And then with Hermione, build this portrait, and once it connects to the wall, that's when the camera pan starts. And then just give the item to both players. And that's a really easy level. So, yeah. On to 5-3. 5-3 is a really easy level. Most of it is casual except for the first 2 rooms. So once again, for the first room, okay, there's a lot of ways you can do this room. There's a stored super jump, which is the way I recommend and the fastest. I'll go over the clipping method first, since the clipping method's the least scary one to try out. But I recommend giving the stored super jumps a try. So what you want to do is just get Snape against this fence. I don't know why Harry built that. And then when the ice cube starts to shake, you can pause. And you just want to wait until the ice cube goes past the fence. And that's how you do it, is just past the fence. I'll explain how to hit the trigger in a second. That clipping method doesn't save time at all. I just put it here in case you struggle on the stored super jumps, which really shouldn't happen because there's like a 90% consistent method about to share. But yeah, the stored super jump, it's the same as playground skip and 5-1, and or it's not the same, but it's in the same spot. So switch right here, and then Harry gets the super jump status. So this is my method. My method only requires 1 player and is almost 100% consistent. Like, sometimes I haven't gotten it, but it's really easy. Let's just put it at that. So after getting the super jump, jump up the slide, just like that, and then position yourself on the edge here. And like 9 times out of 10, Harry will jump out of bounds. It's super consistent, run viable. For the next, or the fastest method, this one's like 50% consistent. Don't get the super jump status, you don't need it. You're doing this in the super jump spot, similar to the faster playground skip, if you remember from 5-1. So position Snape by the gate where he is now, and then drop him out, and then have Harry run towards the gate like this, and then switch, and spam switch. Sometimes it doesn't work, because like I said, it's not 100% consistent. But like that, it is undeniably the fastest method. It's just not the most consistent. But yeah, that's all the methods that you should be doing to complete this room. Well, 2 out of 3 methods are ones you should be doing. Don't do the freeze clip unless you're insane. To hit the trigger, it's behind this gate, like running against the wall. You want to be facing this way. So you hit it by running against the wall, going west. For this room, drop in player 2 immediately. This is a really easy strat that shouldn't work, but does. Drop in player 2, run over here with player 1, and then have Snape just glide on Harry's head. The goal is you want Snape to act like a human brush here, and do that. And then after the cobweb's destroyed, quickly drop out and drop back in to skip that camera pan. There's no reason that you shouldn't be doing this, the casual method. If you're curious, you just literally open the door and then use this brush to get rid of the cobweb. But there's no reason to be doing that. After the camera pan, have Snape shoot the cloud that's above Molly's head, and have Harry give her the object, the doorknob I think it is supposed to be. For the next room, have Snape kill the Dementors on the right, destroy the cloud over her head, and then drop out. And then drop back in to skip this campaign, and have Harry just spam attack on it. And then have Harry give the object to Cho Chang. And this room, start with Snape dropped out, and then destroy these 2 objects, build a net, and then lift it up into the camera pan. These rooms are really easy, so I'm just rapid firing through them. Some people like to, in the downtime, they like to build this ministry puzzle over here. That way when they're trying to grab the airplane, they don't accidentally build the ministry puzzle. But I don't like to do that because, as you can see, the position I have to be in to even build the ministry puzzle back here is really weird. So I just don't do it. And the way I position myself to be in line with the back is there's these 3 big tiles, so just 3 tiles down is where I like to stand, or 4 tiles down. Like that, and then give the airplane to the dude. And end this room with Harry on focus, and then just run towards Goldie. And once the people start to move, you can, or I think once you see the cloud, you can snipe it with the focus spell. Pretty easy level. First 2 rooms are the only rooms that have tricks that you can do in them. So let's talk about the hardest level in the game. Probably, I was gonna hesitate to say that, but it's probably right actually. This level has a ton of branching paths, just like the 5-1. So, starting off, immediately there's a trick you can do. This trick is not used in any collection ILs or the IYs. So, if you do this trick, you'll save a bunch of time in your next IY. This clip is pretty challenging, but once you get it, you'll fall into the kill plane, but you should get an out of bounds respawn. I really don't know. Sometimes I won't get an out of bounds respawn, and I really don't know why. It's just bad luck, I guess. Like that. I don't know what I did to deserve to not get an out of bounds respawn there. Because you can still clip through the window and get an out of bounds respawn. Sometimes it just doesn't like to give you one. But anyways, after Hermione clips through, drop out player 2, and then Hermione wants to jump up to this like back platform right here. So Hermione will be back here on the counter. She's out of bounds right now, so be very careful not to clip back in bounds. And then you want, so if you're confused at what we're doing, all the rooms in this level are connected. So over there, that's where the basement is. When you're in Sirius Black's room, solving the puzzles, the basement is just over here. So that's what we're aiming for. We're aiming for the yellow arrow. You don't have to have the red brick on. I'm just doing this so you can see what we're aiming for. After clipping out, you're gonna want to come back here, walk through this wall, and then do a jump towards. Do a jump to try and change the camera angle to something better. So the idea for the jump is you're gonna want to do an edge jump at the very edge, which is like right where Hermione's foot is right now. Like right there. So not right where Hermione's standing, but about at once you start to lower down, that's when you want to jump, and then you want to buffer a jump. Meaning, I don't know if you know what a buffer jump is or not. I don't know what the best terminology is, but if you press X or if you press the jump button while in midair, then the frame that Hermione is on landable ground, she will do a jump, and that I've noticed that can kind of help with this jump. So we're gonna move down a bit, and then we're gonna do a edge jump, and it's pretty hard to get the angle. And if you screw up like I did, you'll actually get a pretty trash camera angle to do it at. It's a very precise jump. Like, I feel like that should have made it, if I'm being completely honest, but there we go. That is way harder than it looks. I'm surprised I hit it, to be honest. But since we're doing individual years or levels or replay story, you can just break open that and climb up here. I will get to this room eventually, but now I'm gonna explain the strats if you don't want to do that, which is very understandable. If you're not going to do that strat, usually you'll start the room with 2 players, and there is a clip you can do in this room. I'm not gonna go into too much detail because it's not very good on collection or restricted. I guess you can go for it on PC, but basically just clip through this wall, then clip through the night. Not very viable, in my opinion, because this is a pretty short room. But put Hermione in the corner, and have Harry turn that doorknob and build this. And then you have to give this cake, and a camera pan will start to activate, but you can't actually skip this camera pan unless you do what's called a buffered camera pan skip, which is when you delay the camera pan but then immediately skip it. So as you can see, when Guardium Leviosa something, once I stop controlling it, there's a purple ring around it that goes away. So when the purple ring on this cake goes away, you're gonna want to, in your head, count to 3, like 1, 2, 3, like that, and then drop out Hermione. And it only works well if there's a split in the co-op mode, like split screen, that's what it's called. So that's why you want to have Hermione in this corner. So 1, 2, 3, and then drop out Hermione, and then move around, and when you can't move anymore, drop back in Hermione. And then for this next one, there's another camera pan after you turn this doorknob. So place it, turn it, and then drop in. And then this knight has invulnerability for a little bit, but you can just kill him. So there's a bit of a strat split here. So this is probably the worst clip in the game, which is why we say it's one of the hardest levels, because if you're going for this clip, it is pretty stupid. Have Hermione on this stair platform, and then have her infinite clip through the wall. This is one of the hardest clips in the run. I almost got it quickly there. And it's really annoying if she falls, because if she falls down the stairs, that's really annoying because you have to reset it up. But if she just falls in general, then she just has to clip through 2 objects, which is harder. But I might actually get it here. Nah. But just trust me that you can just clip through this wall. You can also clip through this door, which activates a cutscene, so this is the slowest method, but I think it is easier than clipping through the wall, if I had to just make a guess. Once you clip out of bounds, you're gonna want to make sure you're holding an input and spamming jump, preferably hold an input, like that's like about, what, maybe like 10 o'clock on the joystick if you were to pretend it's a clock. And then spam jump. Maybe 11 o'clock actually. Because the idea is he wants to get into the last room. I clipped through with Hermione when I was supposed to clip through with Harry. Oops. So do all that but with Harry. For the first method I mentioned where you clip in the starting room, it doesn't actually matter if you clip with Harry or not. I just was stupid and didn't realize you had to clip with Harry. Then the next strat is very easy. Or this strat is very easy. Just literally, you have to rotate these 3 goblin heads. So just do that and then end the room with player 2 dropped out and Harry on the invisibility cloak spell. And when you enter this room, spam the invisibility cloak spell so you put it on. Then do the camera pan. Even though the Miss Black portrait that screams at you, even though that is currently closed, it'll still scream at you if you go close to it. So only have Harry, who's in the invisibility cloak, go close to it, and have player 2 come over here and get his pink circle over this. That way you know he's ready to pull on the drawstring. And then instead of exiting the invisibility cloak by pressing the invisibility cloak button again, exit it by switching to Lumos. That is the fastest way to exit it. If I don't switch to Lumos, he does the animation. And if I do, he will. And then you can hit that with Lumos. Then just build this. And close up the curtains. And then do the Hermione puzzle while the player who's not Hermione stands by the exit. And then when Hermione grabs onto the doorknob, exit the room, and then drag it over here. So, the final room, you can either play it casually, or you can do the fast strat, which is just to go, which is to hit an out-of-bounds door. So the casual method, switch Sirius to the green spell, hit this, and then turn into a wolf, or a dog, I guess. And then with Harry, hit this chest, then break that clock. With Sirius, then dig up that picture, and then drag it to this broken tile, and then start building the 3. I don't know what this is. This is his family tree, I think, in the movie. So start building his family tree. With Harry, do the while Sirius is doing that, have Harry do the Parcel Tongue Buzz puzzle. Okay, just surprised I got that. And then have Harry bring both of these pictures to the thing over here, this part of the family tree, and then Leviosa it up. I'm not going to do that since I don't want to end the level, and I'm going to showcase the other strat, which does end the level. So, but in your runs, just lift that up. And you can do this strat from the get-go. If you're going to hit the end level trigger, you don't need to do all this first. You can just do it immediately. So no matter how you play the room, have Sirius switch to... Actually, have Sirius do the clip, because he'll be automatically selected on regular Leviosa. So it's faster to do this clip of Sirius. Clip through this part with an infinite clip, or the infinite method, and then once he goes out of bounds, the way to hit the trigger... So the way to hit the trigger is, it's like literally just like literally just a jump to the right. So you'll jump and go right, like that, basically. And the trigger's somewhere around this, in between this red and yellow picture. So have Sirius clip through. So once Sirius clips through, literally jump and then to the right like that. I know you couldn't really see it that well, but just trust me, jump and to the right. It's really hard to miss. Let's go into 5-5 now. This level's pretty easy once you know how to do it. Pretty simple level. So immediately, don't even opt for the casual strat here. It is just so much slower. There's a strat. The normal way to play this room takes like literally a minute and 20 seconds, if that. I think it takes longer actually. This strategy saves like literally over a minute. So there's an out of bounds door we're gonna hit, a debug door. It's right at the top of this room, and you hit it jumping this way, away from the camera, like that. So what we're gonna do is parkour on top of these pictures. There are 2 ways you can do that. The easiest way is probably jump from the milk to this pillar, to this clock, to this cat picture, to right here. The slightly more difficult way is to do a full jump from this couch by holding the jump button. So you jump higher and then landing on the clock. And then as for hitting the door, this is just like a preference thing for me. I like to do 3 jumps and then a wraparound jump. And you should hit the door like that. So yeah, that's a pretty easy way to hit the door. Here, another thing I should mention, this is just kind of like a fun fact, I guess. But if you call on player 2 in this room, sometimes he'll be Umbridge instead of Hermione. So the way to fix that is to end the last room with player 2 as Hermione if you don't like that. You need Hermione coming up like you need Crookshanks. So it's just a preference thing. It takes like no time to switch the character, obviously, but that's what I thought. But don't call him player 2 just yet. First, Leviosa this, kill this mushroom, or try to kill that mushroom guy, and then build that. This guy will not die, will he? And then you can just lift this platform up yourself. You don't need to wait for the other player to lift you up for you. Once again, don't call him player 2. I was just doing that to show you that you don't need a partner to lift this platform up. The point you do want to call in player 2 at is after pulling on this vine, a camera pan will play. And when the camera pan starts, if you start as Umbridge, switch to Hermione. But if you start as Hermione, just pull out Crookshanks and jump over the leaves. The way to do this room, destroy this flower, destroy that fly trap, and then destroy this bush with Harry. And then drag this part of the flower to there, and then when Crookshanks digs this one up, drag this piece there, and then when Crookshanks digs this one up, recall Crookshanks and use Hermione to carry this one there. Actually, drop out Hermione when she's up here. And then go down to buy this flower, switch, and switch back when Harry decides to jump up. And then take both players over here, the character who doesn't have the super jump status, in front, position them right here. And then have Harry on this tree stump, and then jump and drop out. Player 2 then switch, and then Harry jumps over the leaves. Alright, so for this room, the only stuff you need to destroy is the stuff over here. These 2 items, and you need a Leviosa this. So the way I like to do it, I kind of actually just go randomly, but the way that you're probably going to want to do it in runs is they'll spawn like this, have Harry destroy this stuff up here, have Hermione destroy that stuff, and then have Harry do this while Hermione does that. Oh, and then you need to destroy these mushrooms as well. Sorry, these mushrooms as well, sorry. But have Harry destroy the top part, Hermione destroy the bottom part, and then have Harry Leviosa this while Hermione does these. And then have player 2 enter the bell bike and drop out player 1. Sometimes you'll just completely miss that yellow circle for some reason. I don't know why the yellow circle hitboxes can sometimes be weird. But just drop in, there's 2 carapan skips here. And then after skipping this one, you want to jump over this log and destroy the Venus flytrap up ahead. I don't know if that's a Venus flytrap, I just call it that. And then the rest of it is just waiting in the spots where the yellow circles appear. And just waiting for Grop to follow you. You can't see it because I'm just constantly ringing the bell, but there are yellow circles that tell you where exactly you need to be to get Grop to follow you. Yeah, that's a really easy level. The trigger in the first room takes practice, but is very doable. And yeah, now we're on to 5-6, which is probably one of the easier levels. It's got a super jump technique that is completely like unique to this level. It's not really usable anywhere else. So you want player 2 to do the super jump. Have player 2 go to the Defendo spell. In fact, I like to have both players on the Defendo spell, but it doesn't matter too much. You want player 2 to do this. You don't want player 1 to do this. So the super jump spot, player 2 will jump over this lantern when you switch. So just like that, cancel that. This one you have to cancel. So if you don't like canceling your super jumps for whatever reason, you have to cancel this one. So you want to position player 1 there, have player 2 run, jump, switch quickly, and then use Lumos to cancel it. Of course, I fail it. There we go. It's way easier than it looks. Next room has death warps. So what you want to do is you want to, first of all, you want to switch player 1 to be on Defendo and player 2 to be on the green spell. And then you want player 2 to die, and then you want to wait like half a second and have player 1 die. That was like not half a second, but it's not really a tight window. Basically, the idea is they'll warp to the end of the room, and then you just walk here and do it again. And then they warp to the end of the room. Now this room has a pretty challenging 1P2C. This one definitely takes some practice. So immediately you want to go to Sirius's Animagus form, and then you want to have Harry throw that bench at the Death Eater, and then have Sirius dig up this, then leave his Animagus form while Harry builds this, and then you want Sirius to throw this while Harry throws this, and you want Sirius to throw this while Harry builds and throws this skeleton over here. And then we're gonna do another buffered camera pan skip. So have Harry walk towards the where the boss fight takes place, which is over here. And then there's like a HUD element at the top of the screen where the Weasleys, or when you save the Weasleys, and once it disappears, that's when you want to drop out player 2. So like now, because it's fully disappeared. And then that's how you skip this camera pan that normally plays. And then make sure you drop out Sirius here so you don't have to do 2 boss fights. If you don't already know, for duels, they're really easy. They're very scripted. The dueling, or the person you're dueling will never use Expecto Patronum, the green spell, well, it'll never use Expecto Patronum or Lumos. It will use the green spell if you're playing as a Dark Wizard, which is never ever used unless you're doing Hundo and are doing a duel as the Dark Wizard. But it's always going to be clockwise. The spell they choose is always going to be clockwise, but they won't choose a spell you're currently on. So you're going to want to have, or like when they do the spell, it'll be Reducto. So after fighting them in Reducto, I can predict the next spell. It's going to be Leviosa. Like that, and then if I were to keep going, it would be Defindo, then Augmenti. Really easy. And this boss fight is played completely casually. I'll just go over like really quickly. Just have both players in here, and then have them pull out their menu so they're immune to the dragon's attacks. And then we're gonna go for what's called a quick cycle. So when the dragon makes that noise, that means he's about to do his like head slam attack. So you want to quickly build the sprinkler and then get the both players to their respective turnstile thing. I don't know what they're called, sorry, but basically you want. If you miss this, then the dragon will go through the cycle where he shoots at them again, which is really annoying. So have one player put their thing ready to use it, and then build this. And I missed it, of course. And this would have happened if I would have hit the one cycle, but I didn't. And then you want Dumbledore to go into the bubble here. Now this part depends on the route you're playing the levels for your replay story run. So if this is the last level you're doing, then don't worry about this next part that I'm about to tell you. But if you're doing this level earlier in the run, and you care about your character management, then drop out Harry and switch to him here, and then drop in Dumbledore to skip that camera pan. Skipping this camera pan doesn't save time, but I like to have Harry as player 1 for an amount of the run, and if you end the room with Harry as player 2, then Harry won't be player 1 in the next level you play, which for some people they might not care, but the only level where I recommend having Harry as player 2 is in 5-2, like I said. Now, as I was talking, I did miss the strat here. What you want to do here is have Dumbledore use his shield up close to quickly block the attacks, and then slowly back away, because you can only build the castle when you are at the back, behind this like line here. And also another thing I forgot to mention, when you're throwing these objects, you only have to wait for it to spin 6 times, and then it's fine to throw. So showing the fast strat again, once Dumbledore creates his shield, sometimes Harry randomly dies here, I don't know why, but have Dumbledore block it early and then have Harry run back to build it. For the final phase, don't do this though, because for the final phase, instead have Harry behind here, since you only need to have one glass shard hit the shield before you can build something. So have Harry around here, and instead have your target out and target the cone object because then you'll build it earlier. I kind of messed it up there, but you're going to want to target the cone object to build it as soon as possible, since it's kind of weird. But yeah, that is the Year 5 replay story tutorial.